I'm Maggie. I grew up in Troy, Michigan, which is just north of Detroit, and I grew up in the church. I was definitely the one who struggled with first days of school and was most likely to hide behind my mom's leg. Everyday decisions started to get pretty hard and difficult, and truly I just was anxious about every little thing. The best way I can describe it is my brain would take a breeze and turn it into a tornado, and I was constantly convinced that those tornadoes would kill me and everybody I loved. That was basically how most thoughts went, and it kind of came to a point where as an 11-year-old, I vividly remember sitting on my mom's bed and telling her, "Mom, if I'm gonna be this scared, I'm not sure if it's worth living at all." That was really the turning point in my family being like, okay, no, there's something serious going on here and we need to get help. From there, I started going to a Christian counselor, also a psychiatrist, and was put on medication. In that process too, started to know God in a really interesting way. There was one day where we were sitting at my brother's baseball game, waiting in the car to see if it would get rained out, because it was just sprinkling outside. I was screaming at the top of my head, like, the sky is falling, the world is ending, like, convinced that this was it, like, everything was over. And my dad asked me to pull out this little blue book I had called Fear Not, and it's just this book that's full of scriptures and other little passages that have to do with anxiety, and so it was a book I carried around with me a lot at that time. So I pulled it out, flipped to a random page. I couldn't tell you what scripture I read, honestly, but what I do know is that I opened it and I read it, and within a split second, I was completely calm. It felt so surreal going from complete panic to complete peace, that it kind of had me looking up like, whoa, God, like, you see me, like, you might be a little more real than I thought you were. I feel like there's something to be said about recognizing that anxiety and mental health is super complex, and there are a lot of different layers to it and a lot of different causes and a lot of different ways of acknowledging it, but while also allowing God to have a seat at the table in that conversation. At least I know for me, that's been such a big piece of my journey, is I can't imagine walking it without him. And so I feel like it's important to acknowledge that too.